Hey guys, it's me, Bluffmachuk here, and today I'm here to show you this new thing that I made in the newest snapshot, 14W25B. And basically, it is an extremely compact mana system. So it's also completely modular. So that's a plus, and I'll explain that later on. But what's a mana system, you might be asking? And a lot of games and adventure maps and stuff like that, people make mana systems to balance out spells and other abilities. Like, let's say you have a spell and you don't want them to be able to use the spell like as much as they want. They have to have a cooldown. So mana is basically your cooldown, where a spell gets used, you lose mana, and you have to have a certain amount of mana to use the spell. So I'm making an adventure map, and I have a spell that I made. It's called Blink. If you're interested in seeing it, it is very cool. Just leave a comment below saying #I want the blink, or something along that line. And I will make a video on that. But that is not this video. This is a completely modular mana system in 3 command blocks, plus some for configurability. So first off, let's say that you want to have your adventure map have multiple levels of mana. Like, you want to make it so if they get to a certain stage in the game, they'll become a level 2 mage or something like that, or level 3. You can completely configure that with this. Not only can you configure what their maximum mana is, but you can configure how fast it refills. So, right now we have 3,000 mana, and it goes up by 10 every time this flashes. I'll explain that more in a bit, but every time that flashes, you get 10, as it's showed in the tab menu up at the top of the screen. You get 10 mana. So you'll see if I set it to 0, I will rapidly gain mana, and it'll go until we get 3,000, which will take a tiny bit of time because it's not supposed to be fast. And bam, 3,000 is our maximum. Now, this is actually our mid-tier mana level that I've configured. I have 3 of them configured in command blocks. So let's say I wanted them to level up. You could run 2 command blocks, and it will make it so that now their mana is going up 20, and the maximum is 5,000. But let's say I want to move them now down to like the first level. You can run these 2 command blocks, and it'll bring them down to that first level. So they went from 5,000 mana to 1,000 mana, and they only go up by 1 mana every flash. So that takes a lot longer. Anyways, we'll put it back up to the highest level. You see it rapidly goes up now, and we'll be in 5,000 in no time. So, besides these 3 command blocks over here, how does this work? Well, behind the scenes, there are 3 different scoreboard variables. The first one being your actual mana level, which you can see on the right side of the screen. The second is your mana regen level. And the third is a hidden variable that I've named mana int 2. And that is to handle your limit of your mana. So those 3 variables are being set, well, your mana level is being set over there, but your mana int 2 and your mana regen level are being set here. So let's take a look in the command block. First, we have scoreboard players set at P mana level 1. So you'll see when I hit this button, it's going to set this mana level. Gonna let that flash. It's going to set this mana level variable to 1. And what that's doing is it's changing this variable in your tab list to 1. So that's the amount it goes up by. right? All right. And this next command block sets your int mana2, which is your mana limit, to 9,999. Now you may be saying, wait, the limit's 9,999. Then why is it at 1,000? Well, the way it's working is because of how fast this flashes. Right now in the scoreboard, you can't see it because it's so fast, but it's switching between 9,999. Sorry, not 9,000, 999 to 1,000. And it's switching like that rapidly just because of how this mechanism works. But either way, it's technically both at the same time for all intents and purposes. So you want your level to be whatever your mana level is subtracted from your actual limit. So if you want your limit to be 1,000, you take that 1,000 and subtract this number. So if you look over here, this one sets your mana level to 10. So your number will go up, your number will go up 10 per flash. And over here, it's setting your int mana 2, your limit, to 2,990, which is an actual hard limit of 3,000. But as we did with these two, you subtract this number from your actual limit. And once again, just to show it in a different setting, in this case, we set the mana level to 20, and we set the limit to 4,980 because that's 5,000 minus 20. So with all of our variables set, how does it do all of this stuff? Well, that is actually done in 2 of these command blocks. The third one here is just doing the flashy redstone thing. So how the flashy redstone thing works is it's setting the block above the command block to be a redstone block. But rather than just making sure that it's a redstone block, it is actually destroying the one already there and placing a new one rapidly. That's why you're getting a bunch of particles. It's doing it so rapidly that if we were to place a command block that says hi, it fills up the screen in no time. So we use this clock that's done with this command block here, and we power 2 different command blocks. We have this one, which adds our mana level to our actual mana, and we have this one, which sets our mana limit. I'm going to explain this one first because it uses new snapshot features, where the other one doesn't. Anyways, this uses the player operations. So basically, the player operation thing, how it works is it compares 2 existing scoreboard variables and uses them to determine an outcome. So in this particular case, it is testing to see if your current mana is less than your int mana 2, which is your limit. So if normally, like when you're gaining all your mana is less than your limit. But at one point, your mana level over here goes over the set limit. And that's when this command block steps in. It says, hey, your mana has to be less than the maximum. So this command block will set it so that is true, so that it is so that int mana 2 is more than your mana. So it sets it to the nearest number that will fit in this parameter, which is your absolute maximum, in this case 5,000. So if your mana becomes 5,020, it'll set it to 5,000 because 5,000 is not more than 5,000, right? The way that the more than works is it's not more than, or it works as like a more than or equal to, rather than just a hard more than. So that's why it works at 5,000. It's not saying that that's too much because 5,000 is technically not more than int mana 2. So that makes sure that it is under under the limit. Now, technically, the limit is 20 less than the thing, but as I said, it's also constantly adding 20. So if it has a hard limit of that, but there's still ticks in between where it's boosting it up to 5,000, because that's over the limit. It displays over the limit by 20, and that's kind of why it's 5,000, because it's displaying 20 over the limit because of how this ticking clock works. It's too fast for this to keep up. Okay, next we have this command block. This command block is also an operation command block. Just to clarify, the new thing here is the more than or less than, depends which way you want to interpret it. That's the new thing here. The operation command has been in for a tiny bit of time, but this is an existing operation. What it does is it's going to compare mana to your mana level, and it's going to say, we want you to put the nearest person's mana level. We want you to add a value that is equal to the mana level. So basically it's saying, take the mana and add whatever mana level equals to mana. So that's why every time this ticks, you're going up by whatever your mana level is. So that is how it works, and it's modular. If you wanted to make it so that there's 50 levels, you could make it so each level this goes up by 1, and this goes up by some other amount. I don't know, but you could totally customize how it works. This new operation is really powerful, and that's about it. Remember, if you want to see this spell and how it works, just leave a comment saying #IWantTheBlink or something along those lines. And I hope to see you guys all next time. Thanks so much for watching, and always remember, with a name like Bluffers, it has to be good. See ya, people.